Oh, yeah. Once again, it's on. David Benavidez again calls out Canelo Alvarez after he dominated Callum Smith of the UK. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing if you want to become part of the gang. Notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. My God, we're working. Cash App, $ Boxing Ego helps me as a one-man band. Desperado El Mariachi. Put out content like this, upgrade the gear, make some fly stuff for y'all. Now, let's jump right into it. We in the mix. Callum Smith got destroyed last night by Canelo. Brilliant performance. I predicted that very outcome. I told you it was going to be either decision or stoppage. He came close to look like the corner was about to throw it in. So either way, I was right because those are the two things that I told you would happen. Benavidez, top super middleweight, former champion who lost his belt on the scale that Canelo now has. This is what he says. After seeing Canelo fight Callum Smith in that fashion and get his old belt, he says, this is the fight y'all really want to see. I will go through anybody to get to Canelo if that's what needs to be done. I'll be ready when my opportunity comes and I'll guarantee to make it a war. End quote. Now, it's no secret, I'm a big fan of David Benavidez's fighting style. He's definitely made some mistakes in his career, usually outside of the ring stuff, failed for a cocaine drug test, but he kind of repented for that and he got his belt back. Then he made another mistake by not making weight. The drug test, the failed drug test, that was just a mistake, young, and I guess he was into some wild stuff. But he's calmed down. Now, the thing with the weight, I'm not trying to make an excuse, but we are in a pandemic, and at the end of the day, I don't think Showtime had the portable saunas and stuff like that, and full gyms weren't open. So it is a little bit unfair because I think he was the first Showtime card back. The first Showtime card back when they announced their schedule with the pandemic. They've since improved that and, tweaked the gym and what's available to the fighters. Needless to say, David Benavidez on Showtime, he destroyed his opponent, stopped a very durable guy, and he lost his belt. He wasn't eligible for the belt because he, in fact, missed weight on the scale. Now, the Callum Smith, the WBC playing games, I've already talked about this several times. They made the Callum Smith Canelo fight eligible for that vacant belt, said the winner had to fight against Avni Yildirim. Now, we all know there's better fights out there for Canelo outside of Avni Yildirim. But now, since Canelo has that belt, you see fighters are targeting him, namely guys like David Benavidez, who once wore that WBC strap. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Canelo. I can't say nothing negative about his performance. He went out there and handled business and looked good in doing it. But, the walls are closing in. Canelo's a great fighter, a great champion, grand campeon, but people are going to start demanding those higher level fights. The Callum Smith fight, I tell you, like some predictions I struggle with. Sean Porter, Errol Spence, I favored Errol Spence, so I was right, but I told you I really rate Sean Porter, and I thought it would be calamity with those two styles meeting. That was a harder fight to predict, even though I got that one right, I got Danny Garcia, Lucas Matisse right. Picked Danny. Nobody else did. I picked Sergey Kovalev over Bernard Hopkins. My G-Files goes back in this boxing game. And these are all public, public domain. You guys can check all these videos to hear one prediction. I wasn't hedging my bet. I just told you who the winner was going to be. And I got those right. Pick Conor McGregor over Jose Aldo. I could do this all day. Andy Ruiz over Anthony Joshua. But the Canelo Callum Smith fight was very easy for me to predict because Canelo has excelled with the style that I felt Callum Smith brought. Which is he's a guy from the UK. He has kind of a European style, the British style, if we're, hate to stereotype, but, nothing about him looks more similar to a Floyd Mayweather or, you know, anybody else. Andre Ward, he doesn't look like he has an American style per se. Some people also said he had 4 weeks to train. You know, it is what it is. He signed up for it. You know, that's neither here nor there. You know, people, if you're in the contention for Canelo, then you better just stay ready all the time, you know, because Canelo continues to pick guys and have a little bit of leverage or a lot of bit of leverage, depending on the person, pick people off quick turnarounds and stuff like that. So if you know the game, then you better play it back and just make sure hey, if Canelo might look my way, I'm going to be ready, you know, and David Benavidez, that's what he just said he will. So a lot of great fights. Me personally, my hit list of 5 would be in no particular order: Jamal Charlo, David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, Demetrius Andre, and a 5th, I know I had another one that I had a 5th one, but I don't know, but that's good enough. Those are all top fights for Canelo. You know, I would say like guys like Artur Beterbiev, but I doubt that will happen. You know, Bivol and Beterbiev, if they at 175, Canelo at 168, those are still great fights that I just mentioned. Callum Smith looked pretty bad, yo. It looked pretty bad. And, you know, I heard all the excuses after his bicep popped or whatever. This is the moment you said you're going to do something. It physically looks like a mismatch because you're looking like you're in a different weight class and Canelo schooled you up. You know, you had a 7-inch reach advantage. It is what it is. This was your golden opportunity to come across the pond and shine. How is it that Callum Smith came across the pond and fought Hassan Endam, a 160-pounder, at 168, and he looked marvelous? And I told you that. It's no secret. It's no secret. It's who you're fighting. Callum Smith was in New York on the Joshua Ruiz card, the first fight that happened in the States, and he looked dazzling and stopped Hassan Endam. But if you know, Hassan Endam has a shaky chin. In the David Lemieux fight, in the Peter Quillen fight, shout out to my dude Kid Chocolate, that's 2 fights. There were 10 knockdowns. It was like Peter Quillen had knocked him down 6 times, and y'all said Peter Quillen was, because Peter Quillen used to get a lot of hate because people wanted to see him fight Golovkin, so you know the racists and old media and stuff hated on Quillen. And they said when Peter Quillen, who was the first to fight him, he fought Hassan Endam way before both Callum Smith, a Caucasian fighter from the UK, and a Caucasian fighter from Canada, David Lemieux, fought him. And when a black fighter like Peter Quillen fought against Hassan Endam, they said it was a cherry pick and it was a bum. And he knocked him down more times than Lemieux and Callum Smith later would do. But back to the point that I was initially making, Callum Smith came to America and looked good, but he looked good against a guy with the shaky chin who's been stopped before, who was moving from 160 to 168. You see what I'm saying? So it's easier to look good. He couldn't come to America and look good against this man you see on the screen, Canelo Alvarez, because that's a whole different monster. That's a whole different dynamic. Canelo actually has skills. He has big fight experience. He's 30 years old, and he's been a professional boxer since the age of 15. So half of his life, more than half of his life, has been a pro fighter. So this is what he knows. Canelo looked exceptional. He looked extremely calm, and he looked ready to go. Callum Smith had never been in a big international fight like the likes of a Canelo, and he laid an egg. It is what it is. Now, with that being said, back to David Benavidez, he's a different animal too. Now, he hasn't fought anyone as big as a Canelo, so he doesn't have that type of big fight experience, but he does have big fight experience because he was on Errol Spence, Sean Porter card at the Staples Center, and that was a healthy crowd. I was there. And he also fought at the AT&T Stadium where they maxed it out with like 50,000 people for the main event, Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia, and he stopped Jay Leon Love. And I was in the crowd, and David Benavidez was in the crowd getting mad love from the fans. So he does have big arena, big fight experience. He's fought on some top venues, despite having not, everyone has to step up and get that stern test like Teofimo we just seen. He had never fought no one like a Lomachenko, but as predicted, that's another prediction I got right, he was able to beat Lomachenko, like I said. So this is definitely a fight to make. Canelo needs to get off of, in the past he said he doesn't want to fight someone who shares his flag. It doesn't work like that. David Benavidez is Mexican American, so he can, I guess, have an American flag if that makes you feel better, or the Mexico flag and the American flag, whatever Benavidez wants to wave that night. But either way, it's not about that. It's about the competition. If two black guys got to fight, if two Americans, two British fighters, want to fight, you're supposed to be fighting the top competition. David Benavidez fight, like he just called out, absolutely needs to happen. He once had these belts, and now Canelo got the belt based on a technicality and a miscalculation on Benavidez's part. So it has a backstory, and Benavidez also has a lot of experience. He sparred the likes of Triple G. Him and his brothers have been fighting, comes from a fight family, etc. So this is a major fight. Hopefully Canelo makes the right decision and picks a guy like David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, Jamal Charlo, right? Demetrius Andrade. Like I've been saying for several years, Andrade and Charlo were at multiple divisions at the same time as Canelo, 154, 160. Now Andrade's going up to 168. The walls are closing in. Canelo's going to have to fight one of these dudes. He says he also wants to unify. So that means you have to at least beat a Caleb Plant, because Caleb Plant got a belt, And I think it would be right to fight a Benavidez because of the style of fight. It'll be a all-out, combustible fight. And really, he lost his belt on a technicality. So that would be right, for the fans to see. He just got a belt beating Callum Smith up and looking great doing it, but he just got a belt that was vacant. David Benavidez had to stop Anthony Durrell to get that belt after he lost it with the failed drug test, as I mentioned earlier. I mean, it's different levels. So Anthony Durrell was a champion multiple times who had never been stopped, and David Benavidez had to stop a guy who had never been stopped in a fight I thought he was losing. I thought David Benavidez was getting outboxed by Durrell. So in a fight he was losing, he turned it around, showed that power, showed that durability, and he stopped Durrell. And that's my dude. Shout out to Anthony Durrell. Canelo just had to fight a UK fighter that barely threw punches and, was running the same sequences and combinations. It's just different levels. From the outside looking in, the casuals may not pick up on this, but real boxing fans know the difference between beating a champion, beating a respected guy like Anthony Durrell, who comes from a fight family, who comes from a rough area. So he's gritty, he comes from Flint, and was a true champion, multiple time champion, and David Benavidez beating him versus who they said was the best 168 pounder. And I'm going to leave on that note. Now, I told you before the fight, Canelo's team, I did a video about it. It's up on the channel for Fight Week. Canelo's team said that they really felt that Caleb Smith was the best guy at 168. I told you that was cap. David Benavidez and Caleb Plant are levels above Caleb Smith, and we've seen more. Caleb Smith, people getting hyped over a World Boxing Super Series, beating George Groves, who had already got stopped twice by Carl Froch and lost to Badu Jack, So it's not like Caleb Smith had the crazy bodies on his resume. Who'd he really beat? He beat George Groves after Badu Jack. It's funny how that works. See, this is the stoppage. It's funny how that works. When Badu Jack beat George Groves I think it was on a Mayweather undercard, you didn't hear all the people celebrating and saying Badu Jack was the best 168 pounder. And he really beat Adonis Stevenson and guys like Lucien Bute and James DeGale. And people don't give Badu Jack, my dude Badu Jack, credit for that. But he really beat guys that they said he drew with, He had a tough fight with Jean Pascal. That was at 175. You get my drift? So, real boxer fans know what it is. You can, for casuals, that's why they can't argue with me, because the casuals, they know not what they speak. David Benavidez is a true fighter. We know it'll be a more exciting fight, win, lose, or draw, than Callum Smith, who lost 12 out of 12 rounds. I don't see Caleb Plant losing every single second of every single round for 12 rounds. Win, lose, or draw. Nor Benavidez, nor Jamal Charlo, no Demetrius Andrade. Stop playing. As always, let me know how I did in this video. Get ESPN Plus using my link in the description. It's $5.99 a month, or you could get the bundle ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all three apps one low price of $12.99. And Disney Plus just released a monster schedule. The Mandalorian is coming back. It is back, right? Loki and a bunch of shows. So make sure you guys get that. It's a great Christmas gift as well. And they have bundles like that. Just click on my link. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I like David Benavidez wanting that belt back and, you know, wanting to go through Canelo or whoever he needs to go through to try to get that strap. He's lost his belt twice, but he lost them on technicalities, you know, and you can say it's his fault, but nonetheless, he's still a great fighter. And it would be just a great fight for the fans, like aesthetically pleasing to the eye. He's a big dude. He has power. Canelo has power. Canelo got skills. Canelo has big fight experience. David Benavidez doesn't have the name like a Canelo, but he has big arena experience, like I said, fighting on the likes of Spence Garcia card, etc. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Will Canelo stay away from David Benavidez? Will he give the young lad an opportunity? Drop that in the comment section. I think it's only right. Shane Mosley, you know, he was 40 years old. He fought a young Canelo. Canelo's only 30 years old. Fight a 24-year-old David Benavidez, you know. Mayweather was 36, 37, fought a 23-year-old Canelo. This would be his Canelo to Mayweather, you know. So that would show the fans a whole lot more than that Callum Smith fight. That's just my honest opinion. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. You know, again, shout out to Canelo. I have him #1 pound for pound based on his resume, things like that. And I did have him over Terrence Crawford now. And it's really just because of the resume. I think Crawford shows more separation. And I'll get into this argument a little bit later, but Crawford shows more separation. However, he doesn't have the, you know, based who he's aligned with and business decisions he's made and stuff. He don't have the body of work like Canelo. So that's my opinions. Hate it or love it. Underdogs on top. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. Signing off. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more sports. Get unlimited access to premium content with an ESPN Plus subscription. ESPN Plus offers a variety of content, including specials, behind the scenes, docuseries like Bruce Lee's Be Water, and much more. With an ESPN Plus subscription, you get access to a ton of classic archive fights and replays from boxing and the UFC. Big names like, "Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Come and watch my fight." Floyd Mayweather, "Easy work. I'm rich." And Manny Pacquiao, "Yes, it's up to my promoter. Just to name a few. If that's not enough, you could get the ESPN bundle, which includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All 3 apps, one low price. You don't want to miss out. Make sure you guys click that link in the description box of all of my videos. Ego, signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.